Hi, I'm Michelle Blue. I started my first business just 2 weeks after graduating college.
Who are you? That's a question of life.
There is a dream that we all have within us. I believe if that dream is given to you, then it's up to you to bring it forth into the world. As a coach and host, I support women like you to create the life and business of your dreams.
Not being too committed to whatever destination you've set in your head, but being committed to the journey.
Through conversations with influential entrepreneurs and thought leaders, we dive into the mindset, spiritual, and success principles needed to step into your power. I'm with you every step of the way, and just know that the beauty lies within the journey. You're watching The Journey with Blue. Hi, I'm Michelle Blue, and welcome to The Journey with Blue, where I'm supporting you every step of the way to create the life and business of your dreams. If you're ready to manifest confidently, then starting with forgiveness and gratitude is the way to attract miracles into your life. Lenise shares the power of forgiveness and gratitude to help you release emotional blocks and manifest all that you truly want in your life and along the journey. Lenise, I am so excited for this conversation. First, you are giving me all the vibes, all the energy. As soon as you walked in, I was like the purple and the royalty, the crown. I was like, this is everything. This is so you.
It is. And that's what it's about for me, showing up authentically and really feeling good and intentional with all things, from the red lip to keep me rooted and grounded in the truth. The purple reminding me that I am the amethyst, that I speak my truth with clarity. So that's just how I like to move.
I feel it. And you live it. And I don't even think you realize this, but I ended my year with you and I started my year with you. And I guess it was around this time, last December, you did a workshop around forgiveness and allowing us to let go and leave our past behind us as we stepped into 2020.
Right.
And then at the beginning of this year, we came together and we were like, what can we do? And we did a 7-day gratitude challenge. And I don't even know if you realize this or not. I was like, but having these two coupled, forgiveness and gratitude, is so powerful. And with doing that work, it literally shifts paradigms. It literally shifts what we can attract in our lives and what we create and bring more miracles into our space.
Right.
And I know you're a manifestation coach, but what does that even mean? What does that mean to people? Because it seems like, oh, manifestation coach, really just in the sky. But there's truth and, grounding to your work.
Yes. I didn't realize that we started and ended our year together until you said it. Full circle moment. So I'm excited to be here. We're all always manifesting, right? It's just about bringing your thoughts into reality, creating your own reality using your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. And so I teach women how to see that they're doing that every day, all day, and to pinpoint the tools so that they can do it more consciously and confidently.
Now, okay, because like you said, we're always manifesting, whether we know it or not, right? Whether we're setting the intention or not.
Right.
And so we are either attracting the bad or the good, but regardless, we're bringing it forth to ourselves. So it's like, why not set intention around actually, bringing more of the things that we want into our lives? More love, more healing, boldness, or more money, whatever the case may be. But let's start with forgiveness. Why is that so important, right? I think we all hear forgiveness, this is something we've talked about growing up as a child, but is rooted in so much power.
Yeah. Forgiveness is a big part of consciously manifesting, because if you're not forgiving on a daily basis, you're creating blocks within your own body, within your own energy field that halts your blessings from coming to you. Holding a grudge holds you back from moving forward. When you do forgive, you can have a clear conscience and an open heart to be ready to receive. And so forgiveness for me is a state of being. Just every day, all day, every minute of the day, constantly forgiving myself. And that's where it starts, within. Instead of beating yourself up for something that you've done in the past, something that you did over again that you told yourself you wanted to stop or to change, you're not doing any good. Oh man, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. This energy you're sending out into the universe is saying, I'm not ready for more. I'm not deserving. I'm not worthy. And so for me to always be forgiving is about compassion. It's about accountability.
Right.
And so it's important to forgive so that you can manifest and attract the things that you truly want. And that's usually high vibrating things, like you mentioned: love, peace, healing, money, relationships. When you're not forgiving, you're sending out a low vibration: fear, hate, judgment, lack of empathy. And you're not going to attract love in those things with that kind of vibration.
Right. And I love that you started at this place, because a lot of times we think about forgiveness as in, we need to forgive other people. But a lot of the forgiveness has to come from us forgiving ourselves.
Right.
And we all, are our own worst critics.
Exactly.
Right? We're constantly like nagging on ourselves, telling us like we don't look the part, or we should be further, or comparing ourselves, whatever the case may be. And we don't even realize like how much hurt that we're pounding onto ourselves. And so it's important for us first to forgive ourselves and to free ourselves of everything that we've been placing on, on us.
100%. I like to say charity begins at home. And charity, I like to look everything up. Charity means love, right? So love begins at home. And for me, I like to teach in my courses, self-love is forgiveness, gratitude, and acceptance, self-acceptance. And so when you can start with forgiving yourself, then you can kind of see the bigger picture and have a new perspective on your life and your experiences. And then that's when the gratitude comes in. And you're grateful for how everything worked out.
Right.
Because it got you to where you are now, and you're exactly where you should be.
Now, okay, what is that? Why are we so hard on ourselves? Like, we can realize to give grace to other people, but we don't give that same in return to ourselves, right? Like, if we think about like the things that we say to ourselves, we would never say that out loud. We would never say that to someone else, but we constantly harp on ourselves or down on ourselves. And it's like, how do we even let that happen?
That is because we've been conditioned to be motivated by shame and motivated by guilt. And it's like, if you're beating yourself up, then that's almost like a good thing. Then you're learning, right? Some of our parents is like, they tell you the same thing over and over again. They're constantly reminding you of the thing that you did wrong or comparing you to other people. And so it just becomes a habit, a way of talking to yourself, because that's what we've been taught. That's the part of the conditioning of society.
And I mean, obviously we know that's not serving us. I just don't know if we really take stock of how that is diminishing us from being our highest self. And so I think it's really good for moments like with your workshop for us to check in and see, like, what are we saying to ourselves, right? What are we harping on? And also thinking about how are we forgiving other people? Because we can't really, like you said, you have to start at home. And this is something I'm working on, right? We can't fully forgive other people if we are talking to ourselves the way we are, right? If we're not loving ourselves, if we're not, giving ourselves grace and acceptance, right?
Right.
How can we really forgive and give someone else that when we're not giving it to ourselves?
Exactly. And forgiveness is a process. You might say, I forgive, and then it might come back up for you later. Something triggers it. And so it's just staying in that constant state of awareness of empathy, right? Like, this is what I'm going through. And so someone else may be going through this as well, because no one is alone, right? We're not alone. We're all connected. And so, again, remembering, I forgive myself. The more that I forgive myself, that's practice in forgiving others. The more that I forgive others is practice in forgiving myself. It's a cycle.
Right. Now, usually when we're talking about forgiving someone, it's because they did us wrong, right? Or they did something that we didn't like, whatever the case may be. And yes, we can speak about forgiveness as this like theory, but when the emotions are there, right? When someone has really pained me from my past, and it can be anyone, right? It can be our parents sometimes. It can be from previous relationships. It can be that teacher from 5th grade that told you you weren't smart or you weren't going to make it or you couldn't do this, right? And a lot of times it's those some of the small moments and bigger moments that compound over time. But again, we're holding this anger and this pain subconsciously.
Yep.
We don't even know that it's there. We don't even know that we're still pissed off about this situation. And so, again, I don't want it to be like, oh, just forgive, because real hurt has been caused.
Yep.
So how do we get over that real pain, those real emotions, right, in order to forgive someone?
Yeah. Well, first, I'd like to remind myself that everyone's doing the best they can with what they know. And a lot of us, we don't know much, right? And so once I remind myself of that, look at how did it affect me? What was the trigger? And really try to take it off of them and put it on myself. Like, what space was I in where I was allowed to be hurt in this way? Where were some of my expectations? Where were my disappointments? And really look at the truth of it. I have a method I like to call the CARE method. And it's compassion, accountability, release, and empathy. And so first, have compassion for myself, honor the feelings. Like, okay, this hurts. Why did this hurt? And what is the lesson here? That's when the accountability comes in. How did I get here? What is here for me to learn? What can I take away from this?
Right.
And then releasing. I want to release this person, whether it's releasing them from your life, releasing the narrative. Changing the narrative is important when it comes to forgiveness. Not looking at it as a victim, blaming, shaming, but okay, how did I get myself here? What is the lesson for me to learn? And what is my process of releasing going to look like?
Right.
And that may be different for everyone. You can write letters, really stating how you feel, burn that. You may not need to have a conversation with the person depending on what the situation is. Right. Maybe it is a conversation and just stating, how you were hurt. And getting that out. Maybe there was a breakdown in communication that can be fixed there. Right. Like, how can we heal from this? And then, again, it's the empathy. We're all doing the best we can. We're
all just human.
Yeah, finding that space for grace. No one's perfect. We're all learning and really getting to understand ourselves as we get older and grow and become more and more aware, and the internet information, taking all that in. It's a process. It's not a product. That's my mentor, she tells me that, by my spiritual guide. So yeah, and for me, it's about being the change. Not expecting it from anyone, but really like, okay, what would Jesus do?
I love that you said, and I think, because I don't think I've done this before, right? When someone has wronged me, I'm just like mad at them or placing the blame. I'm only seeing their wrong, right? But you just said, what was my part in this, right? And having some level of accountability. Because you said before, we're always attracting something, whether we have intention to it or not.
Exactly.
And so it's like, in some things, I don't want to dismiss a lot of the hurt and pain people have gone through,
Right.
because some things are just not supposed to happen
Right.
and are not okay.
Right.
So I'm not just diminishing that at
Right.
all. But some things, our ways of being, are attracting certain situations, and sometimes these situations will continue to happen until we break that chain, right? Until we change, until we show up differently, until that lesson has been learned.
Exactly. And it's about your cycle of attracting and moving forward. And so, like you said, there's some unforgivable things that has happened to people, but the forgiveness is for yourself. You're not doing it for the other person.
Right.
You're doing it so you can move forward from this narrative, and so that you can grow from it and be empowered to share your story with others who have been through what you've been through. Because if you're not forgiving and you're stuck in that victim mindset or that victim narrative, then you're going to stay there forever, and you're not going to be able to live in your purpose of telling your story for healing.
Right. And I think that's really important. And I think people are probably like listening and watching it and are like, okay, Blue, like, what is the connection? What does this even mean for me as an entrepreneur and growing my business and life? Like, what is the connection? But again, and I think I go back to Erykah Badu, right? Bag Lady. And it's like you have all these bags that we're carrying and that we put on, over time and through life. And we don't even realize these things are holding us.
Right.
That are keeping us,
Right.
subconsciously, from stepping into our power. And, it's just like you have to clear that space.
And it's about integrating that everything you do in your personal life has an effect on everything you do. So it does matter to your business,
Right.
how you're feeling. It affects your output. It affects your creativity. It affects who you attract. Our energy field can be measured like up to 4 miles. And so what are you attracting?
Wow.
I know, right?
And our bodies are so powerful.
Yes, exactly. So I'm always looking to keep my aura and energy field clear so that I can bring in new business, new clients that are aligned with integrity, right? And I do that through forgiveness of self first. Everything starts within.
Right.
And then you can carry that out with others.
Okay, so we have our forgiveness piece. And now gratitude. So we spent every morning for 7 days, and he was like, oh, Blue, let's do this at like 6 a.m. And I was like, why would I ever do that? Like, why would I show up live on Instagram at 6 a.m. to talk about gratitude? But by like day 3, I would say I'll give me 3 days. I was like, oh my gosh, I was so thankful for us to like have that moment in that space to give gratitude, right? And we know when we talk about elevating our frequency so we can attract higher things, gratitude is the fastest way
Right.
to shift and attract miracles into our life.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, I like to say gratitude is the love language of the universe. And so I'm already thanking the universe for what it is I want, as if I already have it.
Right.
Thank you for my new home and the safe location and a loving community. Thank you for my new car. Thank you for these new clients. Thank you so much for health and strength.
Right.
That's how we talk. And when you feel that you have it, then you can attract it, because manifestation is all about a feeling. You have to align with the vibration of what you want. And if you feel like you don't have it, then you're not aligned with it.
Right.
So use gratitude to align with what you want and attract it faster to your life.
One of the things I always say is like, I'm so happy and grateful for. And this, like you said, is some of the things that I already have, but a lot of it is the stuff that I know I'm stepping into, right? That's coming for me. And so it is claiming it, but also bringing that emotion with it too, and knowing like this is done. Right?
Exactly.
I'm already claiming it. I already know like this is created. It's just manifesting in the reality, but it's already present around me.
Exactly. And having gratitude for what you already have shows your readiness to receive more, right? And so I like to think of the universe, God, as a parent. If you can't finish what's on your plate, how you gonna ask for
Get more.
seconds?
You know, your parent. My mama was not giving us nothing else. You know, it's like eat what's on your plate.
Exactly.
Use what God has already given you.
Exactly.
And I think even for me, I get distracted because I'm like, ooh, I want this, I want that, I want to do this, and it's like, Blue, like, you know, start where you are. You know, so it's like you said, be grateful for where you are. Use the gifts and the talents and the everything that you have now, and then there will be more overflow, right? Because you're a good steward of it.
Exactly.
Right? And so I think that's really important. And even in the times when I don't feel great, right? This was one of the shifts I had to make during COVID because there was just so much going on. It was like, I feel like my energy was being depleted. We were seeing so much like pain and hurt from people really going through suffering. And I had to shift. And so I started doing my gratitudes in the morning. And that allowed me to step into life differently. It allowed me to also not think about the things that I lost during this time, right? Because I could have focused on that and like, oh, I had to move and I lost contracts and money, whatever the case may be. But there was just so many more things for me to be grateful for. And so when you shift your attention to all that you have and the abundance instead of the things that we don't, it changes everything.
Yeah, having gratitude for what you have brings feelings of contentment. And you want to be content in any season that you're in, because that's how you curate your energy. Again, coming back to manifestation. So you want your energy to be vibrating as high as possible. When you're feeling low, we have feelings, we're humans, you go through it. When you have that gratitude practice, you can come back to it and raise your own energy instead of relying on outside sources.
Right.
So gratitude is a powerful tool to feel content in your season.
And this was something, and I had this struggle, right? Because of course I like want to be, you know, I'm always thinking about the vision and where I want to go. And so I think I would always place my energies on what is yet to come instead of where I already was, right? And what I already had. And so it seemed like I wasn't content in my place, right? And I wasn't able to enjoy where I actually was. And like I always preach, enjoy the journey. And that was a lesson for me, right? It's like understanding that even with forgiveness, even with gratitude, it's like all things are always working together for my good, right? And even when I don't know it, even when it doesn't look like it, and trusting in that. And that is where the shifts, and that's when the miracles enter into our space.
Yes, 100%. When you realize that you have everything you need, that's when the vortex opens up and everything just starts coming to you.
Right.
You just in receiving mode.
Right.
So use gratitude to feel that. Like, I have everything I need. And you may need to get creative about it, right? It may not look how you think it should look, but that doesn't mean that it's not there.
Right. So what would your practices be? You know, I think in both situations, we always ask, like, how am I growing, or what am I growing from these situations? What would your practices be for people to shift, right? And be in a place of gratitude and be in a place of radical forgiveness, right? And being able to usher in more love, even for the people who have done us wrong.
For gratitude, I like to put things in methods so that's easy for me to remember as I go through my cycles and processes. VRAM, visualize. So I have a song that I sing. Like, I'll look at my family members or whoever's being like super helpful
You're
to
always
me.
singing too. You be sending me stuff.
Yeah, sound raises your vibration. So you definitely want to be singing, listening to music, sound bowls, drumming. So visualizing what it is that you're grateful for, sing to it, thank you, say it out loud. getting into the practice alone in your house, walking around, just giving the praise, rejoicing, visualizing what you want, seeing it, feeling it as if it's already yours. The feeling is very important. What does it feel like to have this? Because it's really not about the thing. It's about the feeling that it's going to bring.
Right.
Reflect on what it is you have. Visualize what you want. Feel grateful for that. Reflect on what you have. Use affirmation. Use affirmation. I'm grateful for. I'm so thankful for. Thank you for this. I have everything I need. And then you can magnify your gratitude through action, giving your time and energy as a thank you. And what I found is that anytime I volunteer, doors open up. I mean, doors and windows. I get jobs. I get invited to things. I make new friends. It's just a wealth in giving your time. So always give as a form of gratitude. And then for my cycle of forgiveness, compassion. That's the care method. Accountability, releasing, and then just having empathy and reminding myself of that every time. How can I forgive myself? What have I done? What have I learned? What do I need to move forward? Even if I don't get that apology that I feel that I deserve, that person may not be in that space. They may not be aware. And so forgiving myself for putting myself in that situation, forgiving myself for not knowing any better, and just releasing and just really attempting to move forward. The universe sometimes just want to see you start. And then the gifts will come to you, the tools that you need to continue to move forward, whether it's therapy, a life coach, whatever you need, it'll come to you. But just the act of starting is huge.
I love that. And Lenise, thank you. Like I said, even though you didn't realize it, but you challenged me, right, to dig deep and to forgive. And that's a continual process. That's not a one-time thing. That's a daily practice, right? And also realizing that to be grateful for all things that are happening around me and claiming the things that have yet to materialize on this plane. And so I'm so glad that we did that work. I'm so glad that you even have the community of women that you do. Yeah. And even though we won't be like in person in the city, I know you'll be showing up online for other women to connect with you. Because again, the miracles are available to us all.
Right.
And it's just for us to step into it and allow these shifts to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Use forgiveness and gratitude to clear your being so that you can begin to receive and really not worry about anybody else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you enjoyed this conversation. Make sure you're following along with the Journey with Blue. I don't want you to miss out, so like and subscribe below to get more transformational conversations. Follow me on Instagram at @themichelleblue and head over to thejourneywithblue.com where I'm giving you my free Taking the Leap ebook when you sign up for my Blues Clues email newsletter. I look forward to supporting you in creating the life and business of your dreams. You're never alone in the journey. Until next time, Blue.